Hello and welcome to the Prosperity Portal podcast. I'm your host, Jill Alana, and I'm here to support you in everything you need to prosper in health, wealth, and relationship. I'm obsessed with everything manifestation, soul path, intuition, somatic embodiment healing, and I'm looking forward to supporting you in liberating to a life of love and luxury. True empowerment, true sovereignty, and aligned soul manifestation. I'm the founder of Jill Alana International, Jai Activations, and Jai Breathwork. And without further ado, let's go to the show and get you resourced in everything pro your spirit. Who loves Jill Alana coming to you live for an impromptu conversation about holy provision and these codes of consciousness that are so deep on my heart, and I've started talking about more and more and more. And we're going to go a little bit deeper into this today, because so many people, hi Josiah, are still trapped in slave checks, okay? So I have a mini transmission here. It is how to unsubscribe from slave checks and open to holy provision. I'm going to read an email that I just wrote, and then we're going to go into it. I'm going to riff on it, on visions I've had on. There was a really powerful vision I had 2 years ago, and I have been integrating these codes and actualizing them in my life for the past few years at deeper and deeper levels. There is a reason that I have all these abundance miracles, holy provision. The story about how that woman anonymously paid for the grocery bill, the stories of when I get upgraded to business class, the stories of when so many miracles happen in my life and they happen in my clients' lives. I've heard 2 miracles from private clients just today on holy provision, because we are anchoring to a purpose greater than ourselves, okay? So actually, let's go into the vision right now. I'll read the transmission after that I wrote, but this is one of the biggest codes. I remember 2 years ago, I was channeling and I asked Source, my higher self, of certain mentors that were in my life. They weren't private mentors. I was in courses with them. And I'm like, how have they embodied this level of provision, of this level of impact, of this level of wealth, like, and stewardship? This is what I desire. And basically the images that were given to me showed me that it wasn't about them. They understood that it wasn't just about them, but they are blessed in walking this path to anchor these codes of consciousness, of true wealth consciousness, the new wealth consciousness, not let's hoard all the money and make as much as we can and give our external validation to it. So many of you guys are still trying to validate yourself of sense of self-worth by the amount of money you call in, you steward, you make. When you do this, you give away your power. How to know if you're doing this is, how do you perceive people that make more than you and less than you? If you think you're better than because you're stewarding more, or you think you're not worthy because you're stewarding less in this moment at time, you are literally giving away all your power to money, to a job. Many of you are still working for slave checks. What do I mean by this? I mean, you are doing tit for tat. You're clocking in and out. I do this and I get paid this. This is literally you subscribing to the system of slavery. So this other vision that I had when I was channeling and asking all these questions, and ironically, this was like a couple months before my biggest month ever, because I got, oh, this is about the mission. This is about impact. This is about showing people on the soul path that we are divinely provided for. Because so many people are like, ooh, spiritual or soul path, I don't want to follow that because that means poverty. Because there's people in spiritual communities who are literally living the codes of poverty and siphoning energy and trying to take and get for nothing. instead of actually living and being the embodiment of this mission. So those who actually get it, get rewarded on this mission, they move resources, wealth on this planet, energy, impact, codes, information, but not just information in the mind. This is why when I speak, sometimes they're like, I don't even know what you're saying, but I have goosebumps, or I am crying, or you touched my soul and I don't know what's going on. That's called a recalibration. I'm spreading codes that I have integrated and embodied, and I am transmuting to those in my field, those listening to my podcast, those listening to my channel, those in containers, those in the prosperity portal, those to be in soul-led life, which by the way is my 6-month program. It's on Earlybird right now. I downloaded this whole course after I shifted something so deep in my field, and it was like the whole course downloaded. This is about being provided for abundantly, being guided. You all are anyways. You just don't know how to discern the difference between guidance and your logic and your fear and the trauma. Clearing the trauma that's actually holding you back and activating your gifts and living out your soul purpose. It's going to be a 6-month journey to actualize your potentials and your purpose and really live a life that is about a mission greater than yourself and includes yourself. By that, I mean you get provided for. You get blessings by God, by source, that make no logical sense to anybody else, probably not even to you, because of who you are for the world and what you do. Part of the reason that I have provision from so many sources all the time, even people I just meet, they're like, you're such a lighthouse. Your energy is contagious. Is because of the work I've done to recalibrate and continue to do with my own mentors and using my own somatic practices and energy practices to be this person to activate souls to their potentials. I don't make it about me, because I can tell you I wouldn't show up if it was just about me. My ego would get in the way. I wouldn't show up for public speaking. I wouldn't show up in these Instagram lives. I wouldn't show up in my podcast. I wouldn't show up for my clients if it was just about me. But it's about something greater. And that purpose is what literally pulls me. I don't even like the word drive. I was going to say drive. It pulls me every single day. And it is the most fulfilling thing. Okay, I'm going to read this transmission about slave codes. So basically, if you're working just for the sake of work and money, you are you're subscribing to slavery. Unsubscribe to slave checks, open to holy provision. If you were giving to get, you are in manipulation and you are subscribing to the money matrix of enslavement. I'm going to share the vision that I had a couple years ago first before I read this transmission. So basically it was like all these allures and things. I'll give you this amount of money to do this, to trap your soul. Essentially, I saw the souls just getting trapped and trapped and trapped. And as they're about to liberate themselves, it'd be this like alluring opportunity that they knew wasn't in alignment with their soul. And the moment they went into fear, they were like, I'm going to take this opportunity, but my soul is saying no. My soul is screaming. It's like, ah! It's like when I worked in an office years and years and years ago, I got this job literally handed to me at a Christmas party. My oldest brother was like, you're making more. I didn't even have a college degree yet. You're making more than 98% of women that actually have college degrees. And I lasted a month because my soul was like, you need to leave. And there was all this physical pain in my body. And there was all this fatigue that was like, it felt like I was trapped. And I started to get depression, and I always typically have a vigor for life. All of that stopped. And I made a choice. I said, I'm going to leave this job and I don't know what I'm going to do. I wanted to be an actress, and I did pursue that for a while. And somehow I manifested that until the universe redirected me. But at that point in time, there was no possibility of going to theater school. Like, that was just not available to me. I made it happen. God made it happen in co-creation because I chose. And that's where I learned to read energy. and learned about the power of the subconscious mind and how to pass energy and transmit energy and transmute energy and share energy. Thanks, Laura. Welcome. And I remember I went up to the woman who runs HR, and I said, thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm giving you my 2 weeks notice. She's like, are you sure? She thought it was crazy. And then she's like, well, maybe go ask these other people that were like part of my family that were like working there. And I was like, no. And I was like, okay, I'll tell them, but I've made my choice. And I left, and it was the best decision I ever made. And I actually ran into people from this company the other day and tech, where am I? Phoenix. And I was like, wow, my life, if I had stayed there, would be so different. I probably would have manifested an illness, like a really intense illness by this point, because my body was already, it was tired and it was sore and I was in pain, and my back was like basically putting, like, it felt like my back was breaking every day. I had to sit on one of those big balls, and like my soul was like, this is not in alignment. If you haven't seen Soul Speaks Part 1, there'll be a Part 2, maybe Part 3. It's my free masterclass. I highly recommend watching it. I talk about this, that our soul is always guiding us. That physical pain was a manifestation of basically to communicate from my soul that this is not in alignment. And guess what? When I quit, it went away. So, are you still working for a paycheck, tit for tat, clocking in, clocking out? If so, I have to illuminate that you're still a slave to the system, the money matrix. And you have subscribed to this reality. The good news is that you can choose to unsubscribe, to become the victor and the conscious creator of your life, to lead by a vision, a mission greater than yourself, to have God fund your mission. This is from a mentor of mine named Melanie. People are paid, but missions are funded by source, by God, by divine intelligence. My mission is to support people in creating an impact, a mission to anchor to the codes of the new earth, the codes of prosperity, pro-spirit, the codes of sovereignty, of impact, of stewardship, of true freedom. Not, I'm doing this job to create freedom, financial freedom, so then I can do what my soul wants me to do. Your highest timeline of prosperity is on Soul Path. This is why I'm the living embodiment of this transmission. This is why I'm the living embodiment of these miracles. I don't need to know where the resources are coming from. God has that. I need to walk the path. I need to show up just as I am right now on this live, just as I will be doing right after for a podcast with a dear soul sister to tell her story of divine union. Just as I do for my clients, my offerings, all of these things. Just as I do when I do my own work, my inner work, my work with my mentors. I almost didn't come to, California or to Phoenix. The amount of miracles that have happened on this trip, holy Toledo. And I got to do an in-person with one of my mentors, and holy Toledo, life-changing. This is the path where we are rewarded. Now, if you listen to Soul Speaks, I talk about how I had just invested a significant amount into my business and I had no business taking this trip. And I said, God, if you're telling me to come, I will come, but I need resources. Show me that I'm on path. And I got the signs and I followed and I listened. And again, the amount of resources and provision that has come with me being here and channeled a whole freaking 6-month course with the things that I have downloaded in going to Sedona and things that I had to clear there. And you can't make this stuff up, guys. And then getting to be at Daniela's book launch. Go back and watch the reel on that, or the Instagram live on that, which will be turned into a podcast shortly. If you're watching this on the podcast, it'll be the last podcast. Hello, beautiful souls. I am briefly interrupting this episode because I have to tell you about soul-led life. This is a 6-month journey to reclaim the timeline you were born to lead, to really become the creator and leader of your reality and in your community. We will go through many portals. I will be teaching many universal laws and guiding you through these portals of expansion to your highest timeline of prosperity, abundance, impact. And this path is also your most fulfilling path because it is the path your soul truly chose. You see, many people think that our soul chooses things and we just kind of have to like go with the flow. But the truth is, we have so many different choice points that we need to choose to align to the highest timeline. And the truth is that it's not always easy. In fact, it is usually the harder choice. So doing this hand in hand with myself and the most amazing community is really going to allow that support for you and the understandings of the recalibration, the decisions, the choice points, and the stepping into your power, your sovereignty, and your purpose that really activates this timeline. That's all I'm going to tell you. If you're interested, please check out the show notes. All the information is in there. And beyond the logic of, quote, what we're doing in that 6 months, I really want to invite you to trust your intuition. Does this feel in alignment, in resonance, versus all the deliverables that we're going to do? All I'm going to say is this will transform your life in the most powerful way. Trust the process. It will align you to the most fulfilling life that your soul is being pulled to. Not what you think is going to bring fulfillment because somebody else did that, walked that path, and that brought them fulfillment. What your soul is desiring. Tune into the frequency. Tune into the resonance. So many people get stuck because they're trying to figure out if something's in alignment. Your soul knows, it can feel. So tap in and tune into that. If it's in alignment, I would love to see you in soul-led life. And if it's not, honor that. And I respect you for honoring that. I love you. Let's get back to the show. Probably. So this is the living embodiment. You can know the codes that I'm about to tell you, and I'm going to go into deeper. In your mind, that doesn't matter. I worked with a client on Monday. It was her first session. We did dry shamanic breath work, okay? She knew all the things. This woman is so smart, so wise. She knew all the things. And she was like, everything that I knew is like anchoring into my body. Holy Toledo, that was powerful. And I'm like, yeah, this is what I've been trying to communicate to you guys. You can know these by mind, but if it's not embodied, meaning if you're not shifting the energy, if you need tools for that, the Prosperity Portal is my membership. There is so many tools, so many activations, so many clearings. So clearings of old money blocks, energetically clearing that, shamanically. There is dry breath work in there. We meet twice a month. There's so many tools. If you want to go deeper, soul-led life, we are going to go deep into the somatics. And that is a prerequisite if you would like to learn for the second half of the year how to facilitate what I do. Now there's another piece to this, and this is walking the path. Are you actually walking the path? Like, God funds my path. God pays for my mentorships. God pays for me to take courses. God pays for me to go to retreats. Because I'm the living embodiment of this work, I'm actually listening to where my soul's calling me. Now, I had to go through many initiations of not listening and ending up in the hospital, or ending up with chronic pain, or ending up with massive money reflections. This work only works if we're in devotion to a bigger mission, which means we have to get our freaking ego out of the way and stop just thinking, how can I get all of these things just for myself and my ego to feel worthy, because you don't already. This is where core healing, dry breath work comes in. To heal those wounds that are having you seek externally for validation. I just need this amount of money, then I'll feel valid. The more money you make, the bigger the wound is going to feel until you heal it. Transmute it. And once you do that, you won't need. And when you don't need, you become a magnet for all that you desire. How you know if you're really deep in the money matrix is, do you judge people who have more money than you, who steward more money than you, who do what they want and follow their soul? Do you judge people that make less money than you? are you creating a conditional identity for you and other people based on this external factor? Okay, we go deeper. So, when you break free of these shackles of enslavement and entrapment, you understand that God is the true provider. There's caveats to this. There are conditions to receiving holy provision. Part of that, for me, that was one of the hardest things and still is, but I do it anyways, is to share stories. Like sharing the story of when that woman paid for that grocery bill. Sharing the stories of when I get upgraded to business class for no reason. Sharing the stories of when I change a ticket and I should have to pay for the exchange ticket fee, but they don't charge my credit card for it. They didn't even ask for my credit card for it. That's bizarre. Sharing the stories of when and the codes and things that I've used to transcend to new levels of freedom, of sovereignty. For those of you in my world, like in my one-on-one coaching, mentorship, for those of you in my containers, you know I don't gatekeep anything. There is a reason for that. And if you're like, why don't you share everything for free? Because then you wouldn't value it. Because money is energy, and where we put this current of energy is where we put our time and attention and resources. And if I gave everything and all the codes for free to the public, I give a lot, then I'm not allowing them to go through the initiation of choosing themselves and actually valuing the transformation. I often give free knowledge. It becomes wisdom when it's embodied. That's the energy work. That's the somatic work. This is what I do inside my containers. Information is not enough. Okay. So God wants you to fulfill your soul path, your soul mission, and only you can fulfill this. Only you have the codes, only you have the wisdom, and only you have the gifts and the life experience for your unique soul mission. Now, where are our gifts? Our unique soul gifts are under our deepest core traumas, our wounds, which is why most people don't actualize their potential in this lifetime. Most people don't live out their soul path, their soul mission. This is where all of these reflections come, the tumors, the cancer, the physical pain, the lethargy, the depression, all of that is a byproduct of us not following our soul. Us not choosing sovereignty. Because we're trying to avoid the trauma that needs to be alchemized in order for those gifts to be accessed. They sit dormant under our traumas because as we go to alchemize the trauma, in the trauma is encoded this wisdom that we need to embody for our soul path. And it's uncomfortable. And it is the most powerful thing that you could do. And this is why our ego will try and stop us from doing it. The investment in self is so important. It is the most important. We are our best investment, in my view. It is the only investment that cannot be taken away from us. It is the only investment that is compounded over time, and nothing outside can make that crash. Because you hold the codes, they're embodied, they're wisdom. And then you become the vortex that can create over and over and over again. And it starts to matter less what's in your bank account. Thank you to one of my clients today, she was like, ding, 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 you got it. She's like, oh, it matters less what's in my bank account and more my ability to create and generate resources. And I'm like, yes. And I just bit my tongue. She had like the most profound business idea that is going to go viral through this epiphany. And I'm like, this. Because before she was giving away her power to how much was in her bank account. So if it went below her minimum standard or what she thought was her minimum standard, she freaked out and she would hoard. Money needs to move. Why are you afraid of that? Because you don't believe you can generate this. This is what happened to me years back when the stock market crashed and I was freaking out and I lost my ability to make money at the jobs I thought. That source literally kicked me out of these serving jobs with a torn ACL and a broken arm, kicking me out of the acting industry and the whole shebang. I've been through it all. When I speak on these things, I didn't learn this from a book. I learned this through my embodiment, through walking this path. That is against all logic, but it's my soul guidance. And I've learned how to tap into my soul and the guidance from my soul, even when the trauma in my body, yes, I still carry trauma, even though I've done a ton of somatic healing, there's different levels, and I still alchemize trauma every single week. I do my breath work, like the Jai shamanic breath work. If you're like, what breath work? It's in the prosperity portal. And I have learned that part of the path is alchemizing trauma through physical action and the things that are scary, the conversations that are scary. Like, you don't think it's scary when I invest a significant amount to host a retreat and I don't have the signups yet because the investment comes first. But I do it anyways, even though my body and my logic's like, don't do that. And my soul's like, do it. So I've learned to discern the difference. I talk about this on Soul Speaks. You are going to walk the path for those who have already freaking signed up for Soul Led Life. Congrats. I'm so excited for you. You're going to walk this path. I'm going to hold you through this with Source. I'm going to help you alchemize the traumas that have been holding you back. I'm going to start activating with the activations, your soul gifts, your unique codes that only you can bring to the world. Nobody else can. And this is where God literally writes the paychecks. Okay, so if you're ready to step out of savior and into service, out of proving and into impact, let's talk about this for a second. A lot of healers are not in embodiment, and it is a massive issue. And this is why soul-led life is a prerequisite to the somatic healing, which will be the second half of the year. So those of you who were like, I want to do Oracle Wisdom Academy, it has a new name. The first half of the year is soul-led life. You have to be the living embodiment of following your soul and living out your soul path. Because if you're not, how are you going to guide other people to do that? And there's way too many healers who are keeping people trapped in healing cycles, meaning, oh, let's heal this thing. But there's not a purpose that, for me, for example, okay, I have fear and shame about being seen and speaking publicly from past imprints and trauma. So I go and alchemize that, and I have a purpose of showing up here live today. Do you see the purpose? How it's the North Star? If we have no purpose, no vision, firstly, people won't do the work to the level, and they will self-sabotage over and over and over again. And secondly, they're going to stay trapped in healing cycles and keep thinking that something's fundamentally wrong with them when nothing is fundamentally wrong with them at all. Nothing is wrong with them at all in any capacity. So that's number one. We're going to go deeper into this in Soul Speaks Part 2, my free masterclass series. It's now a series. And then out of proving and into impact. Like I said, trying to use money or validation or praise to validate your wound that you still haven't alchemized. There is so many people that are still doing this at so many levels. This is why they're saying yes to jobs just for money. To prove their worth because they don't feel worthy. And the more money they make, the less worthy they feel with these accolades, with these, whatever it is, clothes, trips, bags. It's not anchored to purpose. I mean, buy the bag, buy the nice clothes. I just bought myself the most beautiful poncho. I don't know if it's a poncho, but anyways, but it's because my body is a vessel and I want to dress in a way that makes me feel alive, makes me feel like it's an expression of me. Not, are people going to validate me because I got this beautiful red cape? Do you see the difference? There's a big difference. So out of proving and into impact. Into impact. Okay, just sassy today. So if you would like to be divinely provided for on your soul path, because these miracles are not unique to me, they're accessible to anybody who's actually walking the soul path. I have so many stories tracking back years and years and years. And I'm not sorry, but the codes don't work if you're in ego and if you're off path. If you're only in service to self, which will stop you every single time, because you're like, how can I be provided for? How can I be safe? How can I get all the things at the cost of my soul, at the cost of my impact, which is like the SAS codes, yes. The least fulfilling life you could ever live. Me, only me. It's siphoning energy. Nobody who's tuned and tapped in wants to be part of that energy. It's gross. Like, just stop doing it. It's the energy of, I'm just going to go take and not offer. Sacred reciprocity is cyclical. It circulates. It moves. Now, you need to be provided for on the soul mission. You don't just need, it's not like I'm going to give and not receive and have resentment because I'm giving to get. Still manipulation, still siphoning. Do you get these codes? Giving to get is very different of offering your gifts into the world and being provided for. It's of the highest benefit of you, of your community, of all. Win, win, win. I heard a rabbi say that when people want to die, they often say it's because they have no purpose. So it shows as humans, we need to live the core part of us innately. Yes, reciprocity. Yes, this. Yes, this. Because what's the point if we have no purpose? And if the purpose is ego-driven, then what's the point? I wouldn't get out of bed. Anytime I'm like disconnected from my purpose and I forget why I'm doing what I do, I'm like, I don't really want to show up. I don't really want to do anything. I feel dead inside. And then I'm like, oh, wait, I got to share these codes. Right. I get activated. I'm like, oh, I love doing what I'm doing. There's a reason. The reason is because nothing brings me more joy than when people, like when that client this morning was like, oh, had that epiphany and had this big business download that's going to help so many people. I'm like, oh my God. When she's like, miracles aren't becoming the norm, I'm like, ah. Nothing brings me more joy than other people getting these and embodying them and then seeing the real life miracles, living them out and becoming the living embodiment of that. And then coding other people. Oh, my husband's starting to get these codes and I shared this thing with him and like, now he's having miracles. Or going back to that house, my friend's house that I was visiting and her fiance's friend got his $1,000 tire rims gifted. What's going on in this house? It's called coding, guys. I'm just sharing. It's the energy. We're around people and they get coded to our energy. And then, okay, a dude the other night that I met at this conference was like, he literally texted me. He's like, I don't know what it is, but I just won $10,000 at the casino and I think it's because of your energy. It's coding. People message me all the time. They're like, whenever I hang out with you, I have miracles in my life. Because there's an energetic exchange. They're receiving my codes, but they're not my codes. They're codes of consciousness. They're codes of prosperity. They're universal codes. They're codes of nature, of infinite abundance. And we all have access to them. Whew. So I have a 6-month journey to reclaim the timeline you were born to lead and only you can lead. It's called soul-led life. This is your timeline where miracles become the norm. You become the living embodiment of this transmission. And you are guided through your soul, even when logic doesn't make sense. Like the fact that Daniela's book launch was when I was here and I got to go celebrate with her. Like, what? That was so magical. The fact that I got to meet one of my mentors who didn't even know he was a mentor. It's like not a private mentor, Mel Abrahams, just at this event. And I was like, oh my God, it's Mel. Can I take a photo? I'll post it on my stories later. Is like, didn't know that. The fact that I met all these amazing women here. I've been looking for somebody to teach me storytelling because I have so many stories and I'm not great at telling stories yet. Laura, I'm literally like my grandpa Lane. I just go on tangents and I'm like, I need to be more concise. Well, I met her here and I'm like, I'm hiring you. God funds that. Why? Because me learning to tell stories better impacts humanity more. Me having my private mentors impacts me, my energy, my clarity, which impacts humanity. This is why God funds my life. in ways I could never expect. Because I don't do things for money. I've unsubscribed to the systems of slavery, which I had to, end up in the hospital to do because I wasn't listening. Yes, Grandpa. He was the best and worst storyteller. They went on for hours. So if you're interested in soul-led life, firstly, Soul Speaks, free transmission, link is in bio. There's part 1. We're going to do another part at the end of December. Soul-led life, which by the way, because God funds my life through funnels that I don't attach to, some of it's through my business, some of it's through other people, some of it's through gifts. I was able to invest in a mentor that I thought that money was going somewhere else for this trip that I actually got gifted. And so I had the resources to invest in this mentor, which was like the exact amount of that other allocation. Crazy, right? And she helped me actually come back to what my soul is meant to do here. And I literally downloaded this program within like 3 hours. After a session, I was like, all the modules, and they'll be refined. But I was going to do Oracle Wisdom Academy and something was like off. And I was like, oh, because I have to teach people how to be the living embodiment of this transmission before I can teach them the somatic healing facilitation, because otherwise they're going to keep souls entrapped in healing cycles. And I can't do that. No, absolutely not. So soul-led life, what is this? It's a path. The path of your soul is the most fulfilling path. It's also the highest path of abundance. This is where Source is your provider. Source is your source of provision. It is the highest aligned path. It is the most prosperous path, meaning pro-spirit. It is the path that is not easy. Easy choice, hard life, hard choice, easy life. It is the path of initiations, of growth, of courage. If you desire to walk this path together, hand in hand, with a powerful community, I have the best community. I am prejudiced, but they are amazing. The people, the women and men in my world who are clients in my community, in my offerings are phenomenal. Phenomenal. That word doesn't even do it justice. I've had so many people enter my community and be like, you have created the best community. I'm like, I know. Because I grid my community and I make sure it's in divine alignment and that they're doing it for the right purposes. And if you want to learn how to grid containers and communities and call the right people in, not people that just want to take and leech and manipulate and are just in it for ego desires, like that's not it for me. If you want to learn how to code containers, I'm teaching this on the program that is going to be the facilitation program on the other side of soul-led life. So the second 6 months, we've basically taken Oracle Wisdom Academy and broke it into 2 half-year programs. So you don't need to do the facilitation if you don't want. If you do desire to do it, soul-led life is a prerequisite. And it's basically Oracle Wisdom Academy was going to be your year-long program. So we're doing you being the embodiment of this work, and then you guiding people and using the somatic tools as tools to help them access their potential versus save your energy. That is not good for you, not good for them. And holy provision doesn't occur when you're entrapping souls like so many healers are. So anyways, I don't even like the word healer. It implies people aren't whole. I like the word facilitator. So the somatic facilitation, I will be teaching the second half of the year. So you can be a soul guide, a somatic soul guide for beings to access their potentials in all areas of life: health, wealth, relationship, sports, high performance, you name it, in soul alignment. So if you desire to walk this path together, hand in hand with a powerful community of soul-led souls supporting you, soul-led life is your blueprint. It is your community. It is your tribe. It is your vortex. It is a vortex. Healing is the byproduct of following your soul. Any ailment, any physical injury, any dis-ease of the body, all these ailments, any addiction, this is the byproduct of you being off soul path and you avoiding healing your trauma. So if you want to actually heal, soul-led life is the blueprint. Healing is a byproduct of following your soul. and the reflections get bigger when we're not. Prosperity, pro-spirit, is the byproduct of following your soul. Holy provision is the byproduct of following your soul. I'm here to guide, model, and empower you to your power. This is for you if you are ready to step into your power, if you are ready to embody your purpose, if you are ready to actualize your potential, to liberate your legacy, and to make an impact on this planet. This is for those who are ready to reclaim their sovereignty from all the people, places, contracts, constructs, communities. Oh, I didn't say communities. Constructs that you've given it to, claiming your power back from money, from relationships, from accolades, from accomplishments. Inner power, inner sovereignty, independent of these exterior things, grading systems, wealth levels that you're giving it to. And by the way, if you want to reach higher levels of wealth, this is the actual key. This is the actual key. It starts from the inside out. Wealth from the inside out. Sovereignty from the inside out. Power from the inside out. This is not for those who want to maintain a victim to their life, who want someone to save them. Nobody can save you, my loves. Who aren't willing to show up for themselves or the journey or the community. During this time, I will be your mentor. I will empower you to find your power. I will help you anchor in your soul guidance and embody your soul wisdom. Thank you, Laura. This came from my soul, from my heart. I literally channeled this whole thing in like about 15 minutes. This is what happens when you're in alignment. This is why I was like, oh, Oracle Wisdom Academy, what's off? Oh, they need to be the embodiment. Duh. Which I was going to do and mix them all. And it was there was something that wasn't like anchored. And now it is. And then it was like, boom, boom, boom. I will not save you. You're a powerful being and you do not need to be saved. However, I will hold space for you to rise into your potentials. This journey is a way to reclaim your power. Most people are giving their power away to money, to relationships, to career, to accolades, to status, to accomplishments. I'm better than you if I've achieved this. You're better than me because you achieved this. Oh my God, can we just break this freaking hierarchy bullshit? You are all fucking powerful. You are all claimed, chosen, divinely provided for as a child of God. Source is your source. For those of you new to my world, God and source I use interchangeably. Most people are trying to unconsciously prove their worth because they don't feel worthy, because they've forgotten who they are. And how do you do this? You alchemize these trauma imprints, which is what we're going to be doing part of this path. And simultaneously lose themselves, they suppress their soul, and they're bypassing their truth. Well, truth is the highest embodied frequency. So truth is the highest frequency. When we embody our truth, we become the portal of creation. We become the portal. We create a life by design, not by chance. We remember our soul's calling. We are guided by desire and anchored in purpose. If you desire to become the portal of miracles and align to your soul guidance, I invite you to join the journey. The journey overview of the 6 months, the portals we will journey through to liberate to soul sovereignty, and this will be refined through the journey, but desire as your North Star. Your desires are your divine guidance from God to align to your soul's potential. Impacting versus proving, liberating to soul sovereignty, so alchemizing trauma imprints to become a pure and powerful channel, not needing to prove, not needing to get, getting rid of comparisonitis, jealousy, all of these things, and aligning body, mind, and soul with your soul's mission. The keys to following the energy. The problem is the portal, using all problems in life as the portal to your potential, to your next level, to your mission. Patching energy leaks, claiming sovereignty in all areas where you've been giving away your power to finances, accolades, validation, comparisonitis, patching energy leaks in relationships, building self-trust and creating interdependence instead of codependence, anchoring to intuitive guidance and faith in the divine. Holy provision, embracing the shadow, integrating it in your field, the power of the great void, the portal of soul-aligned creation, soul reclamation, true soul vision versus ego. Ego is driven by a wound. I don't feel worthy, therefore I need this thing to make me feel worthy. And when you get the thing, you feel even less worthy. It's a toxic cycle. Unique soul purpose and soul gifts being activated, co-creation and community prosperity. What do I mean by that? There's more than enough to go around, and we can co-create and create more abundance, wealth, prosperity by all of us stepping into this path and supporting each other. So the 6-month journey will include 2 live monthly calls and journeys on Zoom. They will have activations. We will have a WhatsApp group and community. There's a mastermind if you want a higher level of support every single week with a smaller community. Oh, who am I? I'll explain that in a second. So if you desire this, it is to join this journey. It is 6 months. Right now, it's $577 a month for 6 months, or $288 paid in full until January 4th, my birthday. Then it will be going up to $388 paid in full, or $777 every month for 6 months. Who am I? I'm Jill Alana. I'm a prosperity mentor. I'm a spiritual guide. I guide people to soul sovereignty. I don't really know how to explain what I do because words cannot actually encompass what I do. I support people to create soul sovereignty, to reclaim their power and access to potential and embody their soul's purpose. Deep soul guidance and a depth of trauma alchemy, shadow integration, and soul work led me to my highest path of prosperity. Prosperity defined by anything pro-spirit. The path where miracles are the norm. My story, in short, is that I went against all programming and a life that was planned for me in the corporate world because my soul felt that it was dying. I felt caged. I was struggling with chronic fatigue and anxiety. I used to have anxiety attacks like every single week, like falling to the floor, really bad. Illness and depression. I was suffering. My bodies, my cells, like I literally physically felt I was addicted to suffering. I was trying to unconsciously prove my worth by what others deem success. And it was never good enough for me, for others, until I realized that's not the path. Ironically, as I stopped trying to prove it, I started getting others' approval, but I didn't need it. I left the world of security, slave checks, to follow my soul and have been initiated into guiding others on their path. I learned to reclaim my power in each moment and truly follow my soul's guidance against all logic. I learned that this is the highest path to prosperity. Everybody called me crazy. They told me I would fail. This path has a lot of initiations. And now I have hundreds of life-changing testimonials of deep gratitude for mentoring people to transform their life and reclaim their power. I receive more in my life financially and in fulfillment there's a typo on this, doing what I love. I'm dyslexic, by the way, so I make typos a lot, and it's a gift. The school system told me something was wrong with me, that Jill needs to go to this special eye exercise school and blah, 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 and learn whatever, all the things. So for so long, I thought something was wrong with me because I'm dyslexic. And then I realized it was a gift my soul chose. Anything you were told was wrong with you is probably a gift that your soul chose. Actually, it is indeed a gift your soul chose. And it's nothing that's wrong with you. This is what makes you unique, and that you can uniquely do what you can do in a way that nobody else can, and why we need you on Soul Path. Laura, I'll read that question after. So I receive more in my life financially and in fulfillment, doing what I love. That would have never been possible in corporate. To me, true prosperity is prosperity in all areas, which is what I embody in health and wealth and relationship. And for some context, financially, I receive more in most months than I used to make in a year, doing what I love, supporting souls all over the world to transform and change their lives. Through unlocking these codes, it became my soul mission to support others to liberate themselves from the inside out, come into soul alignment, activate their soul's mission, and liberate their legacy. After traveling the world to study 13 somatic healing modalities, which God funded, by the way, I've taken the best of the best and used these tools along with the embodiment of walking the path to support and mentor soul-led leaders who are ready to align to their highest path and anchor in an important impact on this planet. A key to my work is helping people integrate the deepest shadows that have been unconsciously controlling their life, what we don't own owns us, and activating their innate gifts and power that lie dormant under their traumas and mentoring them to follow the guidance of their soul, beyond all logic, beyond all fears, beyond all shame of I'm not good enough. Who am I? I had a client this morning say, but who am I to do this? Maybe someone else. If not you, who? If it came to you, it's for you. You're supposed to actualize it. And when we don't actualize the codes, we don't actualize the codes that come to us, they go to somebody else. And then we're like, oh, they built the idea of the business that I thought I had these ideas. Yeah, but you didn't walk the path. So they have to be birthed, which means they're going to go to somebody else. They're meant to go to you because you have the unique gifts and wisdom and insights to transmute them and actualize them. But if they don't go to you, they're going to go to somebody else. Because it has to be birthed. Do you guys get this? I hope you're getting this. A key to my work is to help people to integrate blah, 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 their deepest shadows that have been unconsciously controlling their life and activate their innate gifts and power that lie dormant under their traumas. I already said this. And mentor them to follow the guidance of their soul. Our soul's guidance is the highest path of prosperity. It's literally written in it. Pro-spirit in all areas of our life, in health, in wealth, in relationships, is the highest path of joy, of provision, of miracles. In short, I guide people to follow their soul path, catapulting them into their highest potential and the highest levels of prosperity in health, wealth, and relationship. The quality of our life is the quality of our relationships. Will it be important to you when you are ready to shed your body? And what will be important to you when you are ready to shed your body and be fully in your soul? How your heart is or your ego is. I'm not really understanding that question, Laura. But I think what you're saying is like your soul's guidance is what will be important to you when you alchemize the traumas that are trying to get you to prove your worth and being soul-led, heart-led. Yeah, that's what you should be doing. Everyone's like, when I get this amount of money, I'll do this. When I do that. No, if your soul's guiding you, do it now. Now is the time. Now is the only moment. You know what your soul path is. If it's like you had whatever the amount is, $100,000 coming into your bank every single month without you having to do anything, what would you do then? Who would you impact then? How would your life look then? And I can guarantee it would be doing something of impact, of service that is greater than yourself because you have everything else provided for. This is why we need healers being provided for. By the way, for those in the Prosperity Portal, I'm in the middle of writing a money transmission for the next call. For those of you who are like, what is the Prosperity Portal? It is my monthly membership. It's $222 a month. There is tens of thousands of dollars of transmissions, courses, activations, energy healings, somatic healings. In there, we meet live twice a month. The next one is on money. It is a transmission that will blow your mind. I've never taught in this way before, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Money is energy. It's a currency. Okay, so as we alchemize more trauma and somatically embody these codes of consciousness, true abundance, true wealth, true prosperity, true health, true freedom, true sovereignty from the inside out, our life begins to respond to that energy, to that frequency. And from this place of sovereignty is the only place we can actually fulfill our purpose. And we need to make it about something greater than our ego desires. Otherwise, we will not show up for it. Okay, I love you guys. Thank you for listening, either on the Instagram Live or on the Prosperity Portal podcast, wherever you were listening. I love you so much. If it is on the podcast, if you could write a 5-star review, if that resonates, that would be so helpful. So we can get these to more people. It really helps the algorithm. And you all know I'm not really like about the marketing 3D stuff, but it does very much help. Jesus was financially supported by a few women who believed in his teachings, Joanne and Susanna. Yeah. Those were the funnels that he was supported by through God, through Source. There is a reason that Mother Teresa can just snap her fingers and have $1 million, $2 million, whatever she needs for whatever she's creating. There's a reason she has a private plane, private jet. She flies a private jet. Because when we have a mission bigger than ourselves, we are provided for. So if you want to walk this path and receive holy provision and do it along, you can do it yourself. But if you want to do it alongside an amazing community and a guide where I share and collapse time for you, all the wisdom that I've learned over the last 7 years, / actually probably my whole life since I decided to leave corporate and not go the normal route. And everyone called me crazy and told me I was stupid and blah, 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 and I'd fail. And many of those people are like, how did you do it? I followed my soul. And I'm going to teach you guys how to do this. And I'm going to support you through the trauma that will come up, not might, will come up on this path, and help you alchemize that to regain your inner safety so you can reclaim your sovereignty and say yes to everything that's in alignment and no to things that are not in alignment, aka the slave check. Where you're putting your time, you're putting your energy. Where are you putting your time? Where are you putting your gifts? And how does that correlate to your vision, to your mission? As a child, I've had just a throat block come up. I remember being like, what is the purpose of all of this? Like, so many people were just like so unpresent and worried about money and worried about all this other shit. What can I achieve? Why? Why do you want to do that thing? Oh, because it'll make me feel safe. Oh, because people will then validate me. Like all of that, guys, is ego, and it takes us out of the present moment. All of our power is in the present moment. We become the portal when we're anchored in the present moment. We can bend time. We can extend time, amplify time when we're anchored in the present moment. We can shift timelines when we're present in the present moment. And if we're giving away all of our power, our time, our energy, thinking about, should I spin back 10 years? Be at the grocery store. Can I get that? Oh, that's so expensive. Oh, I can't do that. Like so much energy. I was just like leaking to how much things cost. Oh my God. When I started to transmute that stuff, do you know how much energy I had to create? When we're giving away our power to all of these other things, we have no energy to create. And when we claim it back, we're like, infinite creation. Now I can send one email, do one offering, and make way more than whatever I was worried about. But until I stopped giving attention and energy to things that I don't want to say didn't matter, but that were draining my life force, like money, like accolades, like validation, like all the things, until I stopped doing that. When I stopped doing that, I started to have so much energy to create. Okay. I love you guys. If you're interested in soul-led life, it's in the bio or the show notes if you're watching on the podcast. It's Earlybird till my birthday, January 4th. If you haven't seen Soul Speaks, I highly recommend listening to that. We will have a part 2 at the end of December. Stay tuned for that and follow your soul. That's all I can say. Okay. Love you. Hello, Sacred Soul. I hope you loved that episode. And if you did, I would so appreciate if you could share and tag me on the social medias at Jill Alana Nixon. And if this brought you value, I would be eternally grateful if you could leave a 5-star review. And if you did, take a picture and email it to teamjillalana.nixon@gmail.com, and we will gift you a free cord cutting soul revival mini activation, a Jai activation. Put that in the show notes, the email, and thank you so much. We will see you again next week on the Prosperity Portal podcast.